Eddie.
And I'm Brad.
And it's an unfortunate episode of Wine Week this week because, as a lot of people would know, last weekend in Australia, and specifically in the Victorian area, there were some terrible bushfires. Over 1,000 people have lost their homes. At the moment, more than 180 people are confirmed as dead.
Yes, look, and the news isn't getting any better, and the fires are still burning in some areas. The threat really isn't over, so we're asking people to dig deep and give to the appeals that are happening at the moment.
Yeah, and it has very much touched the Australian wine industry. Some iconic wineries in the Yarra Valley have either been just singed, some of them absolutely decimated, burnt to the ground. In fact, guys like Roundstone have lost everything. Other places, Yarra Yering, a great old vineyard, is practically gone. Others, St Hubert's, Domaine Chandon, have been lucky to get away with just some vines being lost, but no buildings. It really has hit home in the Australian wine industry.
Yeah, and look, and the after effects will be felt for quite some time, because not only those who have just lost their vines to these actual fires, there's smoke damage being done to other vines as well. So this is going to have flow-on effects for possibly the next couple of years, with some vintages for some wineries not being able to be put out at all, probably.
Yeah, the 2009 vintage in the Yarra Valley is one that at absolute best will be a struggle, and absolute worst will be a complete write-off. But anyhow, let's look at a couple of wineries that were affected and tell you how you can support the rebuilding process. So, kicking off, let's look at Punt Road. Now, Punt Road, a relatively new name on the scene. They renamed themselves a couple of years back because there were lots and lots of wineries with Yarra in their name. They decided to make themselves a little bit different. They do really nice Pinots, Chardonnays, and even Cab Sav. Now, Chardonnay and Pinot, classic Yarra Valley varieties. Really, comfortable to do out there. Of course, Pinot, not the easiest grape to grow, but a great spot for it. The Pinot, you're looking at around about kind of $20 to $25, a great drop. And look, if you see it around in the shops, do everybody a favour, grab one of those.
Yep, and look, if it's not the Pinot and you like your Cabernet and Chardonnay, have a look at those too, because they're really good. I'm going to have a look at a Chandon non-vintage little Aussie sparkling here. It's one that we haven't looked at before, but given that these guys suffered a bit of damage on the last weekend, we thought we'd give them a bit of a run too. Look, it's one of those good value Aussie sparklings. They do some vintage work, which is their more premium stuff, which is great too. It is a great little sparkling number from Moet's sort of Aussie operation here in the Yarra Valley, so it is worth the dollars.
Yeah. Look, we've only done 2 wines this week, both of them relatively inexpensive. Our suggestion to you, if you're going out to buy wine this weekend and you're going to spend maybe $25 or $30 on a bottle of wine, buy a $10, $15 bottle of wine, take that extra $10, send it to somebody that can really use it. Red Cross, redcross.org.au in Australia, if you're able to get to the website, is a great place to make donations, because 100% of the dollars will go through to the victims.
Yeah, and look, they've set up a toll-free number as well, which is 1-800-811-700 for here in Australia if you can't get to the website.
Yeah, and if you want something also, apart from just the good feeling of giving, there's a couple of benefits going on over the next kind of month or so. Rob Davey, who was a wine merchant here in Australia, his wife and his daughter were lost in the fires. There is a benefit dinner to raise money and to honour Rob, so we'll have details of that on the website.
Yeah, and also another charity fundraiser that's happening is out at Stones of Yarra Valley. They're putting on quite an amazing dinner. They've managed to get some of the top chefs in Melbourne at very short notice to come out, and they're putting on a fantastic setup with James Halliday, the well-known wine writer. He's putting together the wine list for it, and it's fantastic. So the details are on our website for that as well.
$200 a head is an absolute bargain. You'll be doing wonderful things. If you go along to that, pay the $200, put your money out there as well for the charity auction that'll be held that night as well. Anyhow, that's it for this on Wine Week. Once again, all the links are on the website. Do your best. Give if you can. Support the wineries if you see their bottles out there. And also remember, Australia is an enormous place. Don't write off the '09 vintage just because the Yarra Valley will have some smoke taint, because the difference between the Yarra Valley and the Margaret River is as broad as saying Los Angeles and New York. So different places. Obviously the Yarra Valley is going to suffer this year. I'm sure it'll be back bigger and better very soon.
Yeah, and look, if you're tossing up whether you're going to buy a South Aussie wine this weekend or a Victorian wine, maybe go for the Vic option and help out the guys who need the dollars at the moment.
Definitely do. Anyhow, we'll see you all again next week.
See you next week.